Let's talk about something that we see every time we go to bush kinder. You know those paths in the grass that you wonder how many people it's taken to create that path that goes to the creek or that goes to where we have that morning meeting, where lots of feet have walked the same way over and over till you can clearly see this path, not made by pavement, not made by crushed rock, made by feet. Our brains work in a similar way to these bush tracks. It's called neuroplasticity, where every time we learn something new or practice a different way of doing things, we're creating a new path in our brain. At first, it's like walking through long grass. Walking through long grass, it's tricky, takes a lot of effort, often might stumble a bit, trip over a little tree trunk that's in there, trip over our own feet. But every time we practice, it's like walking that same path again, but the grass is getting a little bit flatter, easier to go through, more clear the path of what you need to do and where you need to go. It's that clarity in our walking through a bush kinder path that's similar to the clarity when we're learning something new and all of a sudden it makes sense. Because remember how overwhelming it felt at first, learning how to drive a car. You had to think about, where are the pedals? How do I steer this steering wheel? How do I check my mirrors? I can't reverse while the music's on. It took so much concentration when we first learned how to drive. Also, when I'm learning how to juggle. When I'm learning how to juggle, please don't talk to me because I'm concentrating. Because the path for that activity hasn't been laid clear yet. The grass is still really long and it's still really clunky for us to get through that path. So learning a new skill is exactly the same. When we're learning a new way to manage our feelings, we feel this level of excitement. We feel this level of frustration. We're trying to learn new routines, like trying to find my hat and then my drink bottle, and then we go outside, trying to learn my teacher's name, trying to learn whether lunchtime comes before morning meeting time, whether mum comes or dad's coming today. It's like when we're out in the bush where that path hasn't been laid yet. We can't clearly see which way we need to go. One person walking through that long grass barely leaves a mark in the dirt. But a few people walking through the same stretch of grass starts to flatten the grass. After many walks over many days, you get a clear path. And if no one uses that path for quite a long time, the grass starts growing back. I see this happen in our learning. It happens for me. When I went to school, I learnt German at high school. I know very basic German now because my brain goes through what's called a pruning process. It keeps what it feels like I need to keep, and it prunes the information that it doesn't think I need anymore. Same as the grass growing back on that path in the bush kinder. So when an educator tries a visual schedule just once and it doesn't work perfectly, so they give up and they go, let's put that back in the cupboard. The child doesn't engage with visual schedules. We don't need visual schedules. Well, that's expecting a clear path at bush kinder to be laid with just one person walking from the morning meeting area to the creek. It's not allowing that time to build that path over multiple days, multiple steps. Similar to when we're playing this game where we're scrunching up paper and we're throwing it in the basket. Children aren't going to scrunch up paper perfectly tight the first time. They may get too excited and they're not going to be able to regulate their excitement the first time. But please don't put the scrunched up paper activity away because the child has come too excitable. We need to learn how to manage that excitement. We need to work through that visual schedule multiple times with multiple people, same as that grassy path. Multiple people need to walk through that path multiple times to be able to make that clear. The brain works in the same way. It's not going to happen on first attempt. You didn't learn how to reverse park your car on first attempt. I definitely did not learn how to juggle on first attempt. It was lots of mistakes, lots of stumbles, lots of errors. So sometimes I know that we want to keep going a familiar path. We want to keep going the way that we know is easier, but that's not part of learning. Remember, it takes longer to master something new, but how much pleasure and pride do we get when we master something new? It's with practice that our brain and body learns what works. It gets smoother at it, more efficient at it. So I know that it's really tempting for you to put that visual schedule away because it didn't work the first time, to put away that parachute game inside because the children got too excited. But think about next time you see a path. Multiple people have gone multiple times down that same path and made it smoother and clearer in the end. So please allow children to get overexcited. It's okay. We're co-regulating with them to settle them back down. Please bring those visual schedules back out and just try one visual schedule to start with. First, there's a picture of a hat. Then there's a picture of a slide. So I'm going to get my hat and then go play on the slide. And if children make mistakes, we explain to them that's okay. We're building that bush track path. Or that's okay. We're building neurons in our brain. We are trying to teach children that importance of what we call a growth mindset, that we're not going to be born with all of these skills that we need. We learn them. And it's even really important as a challenge for yourself. Learn something you don't know yet. Practice learning a new language with one of your friends. Practice learning how to juggle. Bring out that crochet hook and get someone to teach you in the staff room how to crochet so that you can build new bush track paths. You can build new neuron paths in your brain today, because we're showing children that when we're out of our comfort zone, when we're staying consistent, trying to learn something new ourselves, isn't that going to be wonderful for our brain?